Is Alexander Isak the transfer of the summer? We're going to break down in this video how Izak fits in at Liverpool, and of course, take a look at Liverpool's transfer activity. £467 million spent with some big signings out the window as well. Lots of activity for Liverpool. It's the kind of transfer window that could set them up for the next 3, 4, 5 years of untold domination in the Premier League and European football as well. But we have to start off with Izak. The announcement photo came out late last night. Of course, we'll also talk about Gahey, which didn't quite happen. But ultimately, you see Izak in that kit and you think, oh my days, this is scary season for the Premier League. They've got the most outrageous attack I think I've seen in many years. And you're seeing those things on Twitter of Ricky Lambert and Balotelli coming into Liverpool. Must have been over 10 years ago now. And whatever you say about FSG, they have gone bold, they've gone ambitious, and they've set Arne Slot up for a long-term view of trying to dominate English football. Izak, Ekitike, some question marks about Ekitike now, his role in the side. I think that's absolute gas. Firstly, Liverpool are going to play a lot of football next season, this season. We're talking, they're going to try and win the Champions League. They're going to try and win multiple honours domestically as well. We're talking 55 games next season. So the idea that Izak is going to play every single game and Ekitike won't even get a start is absolute rubbish. And then you take into account that actually I think both of them can play together. Now, Florian Wirtz hasn't set the world alight. I actually feel in big games, look, you can't play Ekitike, Wirtz, Salah, Gakpo all together with Izak. Against big sides. That's not happening at the Etihad. That's not happening at maybe Arsenal away, maybe Bayern Munich away in a knockout game of the Champions League. But against Fulham at home, for example, against an Aston Villa at home, let's just say that kind of side, that kind of scale football match for Liverpool, I think we can see a world where Salah's on the right, Gakpo's off the left, Izak, Ekitike and Florian Wirtz as the number 10 with two midfielders behind. And then I can see a world where actually you drop Florian Wirtz, who isn't necessarily right now at an unbelievable level. I still think he's got a lot of time to adapt. Certainly taken the likes of Kai Havertz potentially years to really adapt and come into his own. And we can still debate even if he has at Arsenal. Florian Wirtz, you could drop him and actually play Ekitike as a number 10 ahead of the likes of Ryan Gravenberch, ahead of the likes of McAllister as well. And that's a very interesting scenario. Even Dominic Szoboszlai could come in. But I do see a world where Ekitike and Izak can play a lot of football matches together. They both have a very similar profile. They can both be fluid. They can drop deep. They can link up play. But ultimately, they're both lethal in the box as well. So the idea that Izak comes in and kind of disrupts Ekitike, I think is absolute rubbish. If you're Hugo Ekitike, you want to play with the best footballers. Great Man City sides throughout the years had 3 or 4 strikers. Great Man United sides, the treble-winning Man United side in 1999 had Teddy Sheringham and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming off the bench for Andy Cole and Dwight York. I mean, this is just where football is. If you want to win multiple competitions, dare I say it, if Liverpool want to win a treble and try and emulate the likes of Manchester City and Man United, you're going to need multiple strikers. So this idea that you have to have one big striker or it will ruin him unless you bring someone else in, I think it's absolute rubbish. And then you actually look at it and think Izak and Ekitike can play together as well. You look at the transfer and you think 6 years, if he stays fit for a large proportion of that as well, which I think is a big part of his game. Izak's come into Liverpool and we think he's a finished product. We think he's kind of this world-class talent that won't develop as a footballer. I think it's crazy. We're not actually talking about this signing as a kind of future prospect signing as well for Liverpool. Look at the amount of talent that Liverpool signed throughout the years. You think Torres was fantastic for Atletico Madrid before he joined. Suarez was fantastic for Ajax before he joined. Similar with Mascherano at West Ham United. These players were already fantastic, very similar to Izak in many regards, this transfer. But Liverpool is a great place to actually go into a whole different stratosphere. Luis Suarez is arguably the greatest number 9 in Barcelona's history. That's down to the development at Liverpool. I'm not saying Izak's going to join Barcelona, but what I'm saying is that this Izak transfer, it makes me worried because I feel like he could actually get better at Liverpool. There's more of a support system around him. He doesn't actually have to play as many games. If he's carrying a knock, if he's not sharp, there's still Ekitike, Gakpo, all these guys that can come in. What if he develops physically? What if he actually becomes more robust? What if he actually puts on maybe a touch more muscle and is a little bit more physically durable and he actually can play 38 games a season? We're looking at a guy that could score 30 Premier League goals a season if that's happening. And that is absolutely scary. Look at the ease of goals of which Haaland scores for Man City and how much he supported Man City's rise in the last couple of seasons, winning a Champions League, etc. Liverpool haven't really had that down the middle. They've had it from Salah doing unbelievable things from the right. But having a naturalised number 9 down the middle that can bang goals every single season for the next 6 years at £125 million, scary. That is absolutely scary. And then you've got Ekitike that can link up with him and join in as well and play with him, rotate with him. It's absolutely scary for the rest of the Premier League and European football, you have to say. And then you take a more of a macro perspective, and of course these big numbers are being thrown around. £490 million spent. Now Liverpool have made some big exits as well. You think about Diaz, you think about Nunes, you think about Quansah, you think about Kelleher, Harvey Elliott. It goes on and on. So actually net spend isn't that big either. But then when FSG have looked at it, they've seen a big opportunity. They've seen a potential Manchester City side without Guardiola in the next couple of seasons. Let's be real, beyond the next couple of seasons. Arteta's still, on some level, an unproven entity in terms of winning major honours consistently. We don't know if he even can win the Premier League yet, let alone the Champions League. And then Man United are a million miles away. Spurs are a million miles away. Newcastle United are completely limited by PSR. Whether we agree with that or not, they are. Aston Villa. So who are the sides really competing with Liverpool in the next 3 to 4 to 5 years? I think Man City will bounce back for sure, and Chelsea. But it might take a couple of years. It usually has done. It did for Ferguson. It did for certain Liverpool sides. It took Klopp many years to win his first league title. And that could be the same for Manchester City, potentially with a brand new manager as well if Guardiola leaves. So I think Liverpool and FSG have looked at this moment and thought, is that for 125? Looks expensive, but actually is a long-term investment. Plus, there's a vulnerability in the market. There's a vulnerability in the Premier League, in my honest opinion, about who can actually go out and win it. Who can actually go out and get 90 points a season for the next couple of years. I don't see Chelsea, City, Arsenal really doing it. I think Arsenal can definitely do it this season, but things have to change in terms of how they apply themselves, offensively speaking, in big games. Liverpool already right now, Liverpool got maximum points without Izak. And that's why it's so devastating seeing him in a Liverpool kit. You think Leone's a fantastic deal for the future as well. You think Ekitike is younger than Izak, and he looks fantastic. Looks like a Liverpool player already. It's scary. The two new fullbacks. I think Kerkez has come on the last few weeks. Frimpong injured. It's still a fantastic deal. So they've trimmed the squad. They've brought in unbelievable quality. Then they've moved the needle in an area where they're already the strongest in the world, arguably. When you look at someone like Mohamed Salah, they've moved the needle again and again. That's absolutely scary. Gahey will be the one frustration, and it could open the door for City. It could open the door for Arsenal in terms of if those clubs can get it right defensively and be better than Liverpool defensively. It could be something that is a weakness for Liverpool. I doubt it, to be honest. I think they're red-hot favourites to win the Premier League title this season. They have to be with that talent going forward. They have to be. But if there's any issue to Van Dijk, if there's any issue to Konate, he's already got an issue. That does look very, very thin defensively speaking. Maybe Szoboszlai ends up as a centre-back, or Endo as a centre-back, whatever happens there. I'm not sure if Endo left. I don't think he did. That could be a real issue, particularly in the business end of the season. Can't rely on Izak and Ekitike to outscore sides in January, February, March, going into trying to win the Premier League title. That's a small chink in the armour. But apart from that, it's one of the best transfer windows in the history of the Premier League. Leave a comment down below. Izak's role with Hugo Ekitike. Does it stifle Ekitike? Does it complement Ekitike? And of course, any thoughts about Izak in general, because it's big money. It's a record transfer, broken twice by Liverpool in the same window. But it's very, very exciting and scary for the rest of the Premier League. Make sure you subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Izak is an official Liverpool player.